Hannah. So today's video is super exciting because I'm doing a book review on Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. This is the first book in the Dark Artifices series, and this book was amazing. That is all I can say. Like, I finished this book yesterday and the feelings are still fresh inside me. They're still real and I am still going crazy over this book. Oh my god. If you have not read Lady Midnight, then I will quickly tell you about it and you can go read it and then finish off the rest of the video. So Lady Midnight is about a main character. Her name is Emma and she is a shadow hunter. Now Emma's parents got murdered back during the Dark War. If you do not know what the Dark War is, then I do not suggest that you read this book first. You definitely should read the Mortal Instruments as well as the Infernal Devices before you read this series, because you will just have a clear, better understanding of this book, and characters in those two series show up in this series and you would just be so much more happy actually knowing the background behind these characters before you read them and get confused on what's happening. So anyway, Emma's parents were murdered during the Dark War and they were pretty much pinned off on Sebastian. Now Emma does not feel that this is right. She does not feel like her parents were murdered by Sebastian just because of the way that they were murdered. So she is dead set on getting revenge and finding out who actually has murdered her parents. So all of a sudden, these murders pop up around Los Angeles and they are killed the same way that Emma's parents were killed. So they start to investigate and try to see what is happening to these murders and try to basically see the similarities to Emma's parents' murders, and it is basically them finding out who the murderer is and what's happening and who in the end murdered Emma's parents. Alright, so that is it for the non-spoilery part. So if you haven't read this book, go read it now and then come back and then watch the spoilery part because it's gonna be good. Alright, so I have so much to say about this book. It was so amazing. I was actually very surprised at how good it was, just because I love the Infernal Devices series. That is my favorite Cassandra Clare series. It is my favorite series of all time, and I loved it. And I like the Mortal Instruments too, but I just love the Infernal Devices more. So I wasn't sure how this book was gonna play out, but it is so good. In fact, it might be almost ahead of the Infernal Devices series. That's how good it was. Like, all of these characters were so well rounded. I loved them all. I loved the parts where the characters from other books came in, like Clary and Jace and Tessa and Jim. I was literally crying on the inside every time they showed up, and it was so good to see them in that book. Like, I wanted to cry every time they popped their heads in. It was so good. So I want to talk first about Emma and Julian and their relationship. So going into this book, I knew that they were going to romantically be interested in each other, even though they're pair of a type. I've heard it around booktube and stuff like that, so I knew that that was going to be happening. I just didn't realize how much I would love them together. They are amazing, and the romance didn't develop too fast, which I really liked. They kind of hinted around at it for a long time. They had so much frustration, like sexual frustration, and just I was ready for them to rip their clothes off of each other. Like, that sounds so dirty, but it's so true. I was ready for them to just go and love each other. Whenever they finally was able to kiss and do the thing, and I was just so happy. I was kind of surprised though, because they started off by kissing and then they were making love, and I was just like, I am so surprised, but I am so happy at the same time. I don't understand, and it was so good. But then Julian had to ruin the love after they just had this one special moment whenever he says, I love you, just not like that. That broke my heart for Emma. Like with Cameron, she just kind of pushed him off to the side. I feel like she's never had a true boyfriend that she's actually liked, and for her to open up herself romantically, like fully, to Julian and say, I love you, like I care about you. We all know that she cares about him, but romantically she loves him, romantically she cares about him, and her expressing that, I was just like, Emma, my baby. And then Julian knocking her down, I was just like, I felt so bad for her, but I'm glad things later on in the series get fixed and then they get broken again, and now I'm just back to feeling sad. So yeah, I think Mark was a really good, well-rounded character. I liked him a lot. At first I was really annoyed with him because of how he was treating the kids and how he was just behaving, but I get it. I get that he was in Fairy for a long time, and time works differently, and he didn't know what was up, and I'm glad that he got that fixed. I'm so glad that he chose to be there, because like, I know I can't say the Fairy's name. I can't say his name. I can't say it. But Mark's lover, basically. I was very surprised by that because of how he was like coming on to Christina, and I thought that that was really gonna be a thing, which it still might in later books because we don't know what's gonna happen with Diego and Christina, but I was really hoping that him and Christina would get together just because I felt like she made him basically. She made him into who he was after he came back from Fairy. She put back the pieces, and I just loved that. Like, I wanted them to be together. We won't know anything until later books because Cassandra Clare has a way of making things come together at the end, so I have trust in her. But I do ship Mark and Christina. I think I do. I'm not too sure how I feel about Diego. He's kind of annoyed me after a little while, and I still don't know what's up with his sketch brother, so I'm not too sure how I feel about Diego. So Ty is a really interesting character. I was kind of confused throughout the book at how old everybody was, because Ty and Livy, they're the twins if I'm not mistaken, and they're 15 years old, but they seem younger in some way. Like, they had a younger tone to them, and I'm not sure if it's because the main characters see them as younger, so the book portrays them as younger. I'm not sure, but I was really surprised whenever they said that he was 15 years old because of how young he seems. But I think that it's because he has this condition where he doesn't understand or he can't do some things. But I'm not sure what that whole thing is about, but he just seemed a lot younger than 15 basically. I really loved all of the characters in this book. I loved how it was just family oriented. I felt so sad for Julian though, that he had to basically give up everything to take care of these kids. I mean, I'm glad that he did it because of how strong they are together, but I just feel sad that his childhood was kind of taken away because of his parents dying and nobody stepping up to the plate to take care of them other than him. So I just felt really bad for him. So the biggest plot twist of the book, I was so surprised that Malcolm was the killer. I felt so betrayed because I really liked him as a character. He was funny. Malcolm was a good character. I really liked him. I thought he was really helping them, and to find out that he wasn't was just so sad. And I also felt like his story was so sad. Like, he was literally trying to bring back the love of his life from the dead. Like, that is so sad. I mean, granted, the way he was doing it was just not right. It was not good, but that's so sad. I felt bad for him, and I think Emma says in the book that she felt bad for him too, and I was just like, yes, Emma, I feel you. Like, I hate him. I hate him now that I know that he killed your parents and killed, but I understand how she felt bad for him because I did. So back to Emma and Julian. Whenever I found out that Julian was going to die and Emma's rune wasn't supposed to heal him, I was like, that's why the Clave doesn't want them to be together. So I definitely had the theory that because they loved each other and because they were a pair of a tie, that the runes were stronger. I just didn't know the full extent to that. And whenever Jim told Emma about the curse on pair of a tie, I was so sad. There's no way that Emma and Julian can stay away from each other romantically. There's just too much love between them. I just love them together. They are so amazing. So to get this curse shown to us, heartbreaking. So basically, they can't love each other, or their runes will be so powerful that it would match that of a warlock's, and since shadow hunters aren't meant to wield that kind of power, they would go mad and die. I don't know how to take that, because it's like, they can't die. So I was just so sad. But like I said, I can't put all of my feelings into words. I just had to talk about those quick few things. My camera is dying, so I have to cut this short. I'm so sad, or I would talk about it so much more. But just know that this book was so great. I do rate it 5 out of 5. I cannot wait for the next book. This book definitely rivals with the Infernal Devices, so we'll see how the other books go in the series, and I'll tell you how I feel about those books. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.